Another $200 million have been allocated for economic stabilization in Sri Lanka. The president advises the heads of plantation companies to inform him about the minimum wage of estate workers before the 31st of this month. Minister Badula says that the state media institutions have achieved a considerable progress. Many areas in the island will receive showers or thunder showers tomorrow evening as well. Aravinda De Silva is honoured at the D.S. Senanaika College. Thousands of Gaza Palestinians fled to Rafah area.
The Asian Development Bank has granted another $200 million for economic stabilization in the country.
State Minister Dr. Ranjit Siyambalapatiya says that this grant will be given in two portions as short-term and long-term. The short-term program will be implemented this year and the long-term program is provided to carry out structural economic changes within the country. The State Minister further said that after the allocation of second tranche of the IMF, more international organizations will extend their support continuously to Sri Lanka. The President, Ranil Wickremesinghe, advised the leaders of plantation companies to engage in a collective agreement concerning the wage hike for plantation workers, aiming for a minimum of 1,700 rupees as per their request.
Now, alternatively, they were urged to reach a consensus on the increased wage amount before the 31st of December. This guidance was imparted during a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning, where President met with the heads of plantation companies. The purpose of the meeting was to explore how regional plantation companies could align their programs with the agricultural modernization initiative outlined in the year's budget. The conversation also delved into the program designed to grant land rights to plantation workers. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed his intention to establish committees for future work, proposing one committee to address the housing needs of plantation workers and another to represent the interests of both workers and plantation companies. Emphasizing this confidence in an export-oriented economy for the country's economic development, President Wickremesinghe stressed the collective contribution needed to ensure the success of the agricultural modernization program. He highlighted the growing demand for food due to the increasing population of Asian countries and urged the country's export economy to prepare for this reality.
The votes of the Ministries of Ports, Naval and Aviation Services and Mass Media were taken into debate today at the committee's stage debate of the budget. Parliamentarian Anurukumara Dissanayake said that journalists accept some solutions for their problems which erupted during their professional career. They also need concessionary loan scheme to purchase professional equipment, vehicle and housing loans, an insurance scheme and pension. They don't want a huge sum of money to build palaces. Journalists don't draw sufficient salary to meet their professional needs. Minister Dr. Badula said that the government presents the Electronic Media Regulatory Authority Act not to ban any media institution. More democratic etiquettes existing in the United Kingdom will also be included in this act. The country needs a media culture that expresses truth, rejecting social hatred. The government has drafted a national policy framework to create an ethical media culture. The minister said that many institutions that come under the purview of the Media Ministry have been properly managed at present. The national television has incurred a loss of 541 million rupees last year. The amount has been decreased up to 274 million rupees at present. The running loss of 361 million rupees at the ITN has been reduced up to 189 million rupees at present. The SLBC has had a loss of 236 million rupees last year. It has been reduced to 147 million rupees at present. The Lake House, which incurred a loss of 198 million rupees last year, has now become a profit-making body with 66 million rupees. The Postal Department had a loss of 7 billion rupees earlier. it has been reduced up to 2.7 billion rupees. The Public Performance Board, the Foundation Institute and the Film Corporation have also reduced their losses at present. After implementing a voluntary retirement schemes by next year, these institutions will become profit-making entities. Parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara said that chairpersons were appointed to these institutions 4 or 5 times within a year. State bodies cannot be maintained in this manner. Institutes like National Television and National Radio should have a fixed system. The government is attempting to add these 2 institutions as well to the list of auctioning. Measures should be taken to protect the National Television and National Radio. State Minister Shanta Bandara said that both institutions have had some losses. However, necessary programs have been implemented to minimize the losses. The National Television is now gradually developing quality programs. Chairman, Director Board and staff of the SLRC and SLBC are working efficiently at present to develop these bodies in a positive manner. Parliamentarian Professor Charita Herath said that the SLRC and the SLBC should be innovative. There are skillful, talented and efficient staff in both corporations. These 2 institutions should be taken under a trust maintained by the Parliament. They should be run by a committee headed by the Speaker.
කැබිනට් එකේ නෙමෙයි තියෙන්න ඕන. ජාතික ගුවන් විදුලියයි ජාතික රූපවාහිනියයි දෙක පාර්ලිමේන්තු ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් ඇතුළත අරගෙන අයවැයෙන් අවුරුද්දට දෙන ලම්සම් එක දීලා කතානායක මූලිකත්වයෙන් තියෙන කමිටියකින් බලන තත්ත්වයට ගේන්න ඕන. මේක මේ ඇමතුමාගේ හරි වෙන ඇමතුමෙක්ගේ හරි අපේ හරි කාගේ හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් විදියට නෙමෙයි මම කියන්නේ. මේ පිළිබඳ විද්වත් කමිටුව.
Minister Dr. Badula said that a committee of scholars have been appointed in this connection. Both SLBC and SLRC should be merged to efficiently manage their resources. A program to digitalize these 2 bodies with the help of a Japanese company will be implemented next year. Parliamentarian Tisatha Naika said that the country has failed to present a proper naval policy so far since 1972. Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva said that harbours and the airports should be exempted from the state control. They cannot be developed under the state administration to advance forward with modern world. These bodies should be made competitive. For this purpose, the best policy is the policy planned by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The government should be away from businesses and these institutions should be handed over to the private sector to earn considerable profits. The government has already given permission to maintain 2 terminals in the Colombo harbour to Adani Group in India and a Chinese company. The government has not taken any loan for the work of Eastern Terminal. Sri Lankan Airlines is under heavy file of debt. Therefore, there is no alternative rather than restructuring these entities. Due to the heavy rains experienced in the Badula area this evening, a part of the Badula-Colombo main road at the 6th milepost in Uduvara collapsed.
It has been reported that a part of the road has slipped into the Badula river. A scene of a huge tree falling onto electric wires was recorded on camera. A part of about 30 meters of road has slipped down. The vehicular movement along this road is restricted to a single lane at present. The water pipes of the area are also vulnerable to be collapsed due to the earth slip. A huge earth mount collapsed onto the Hatton-Colombo main road, and earth mount had also fallen onto the A17 road at Anil Kanda area along the Deniya Madampe Junction main road. The road is now open for light vehicles only. Our correspondent says that a sluice gate of the Randanigala reservoir was opened this morning. This has caused rapid increase of water level of the Mahavali river in Minipe area.
New oxygen manufacturing unit and the new building of the Udugama Base Hospital in Galle were declared open today. The Canadian government has spent a sum of 200 million rupees to construct this project. Minister of Health Dr. Ramesh Pathirana, UNICEF country representative Christian Skog and Canadian ambassador for Sri Lanka and the Maldives Eric Walsh were present at the opening ceremony. The unit has the capacity of manufacturing 50,000 litres of oxygen per month. The monthly demand of oxygen at the Udugama Base Hospital is about 10,000 litres. The excess of the produce in this unit will be delivered to the surrounding district, base and peripheral hospitals such as Balapitiya, Nagoda and Abalipitiya. Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, and Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, and many distinguished guests were present at the opening ceremony.
In a significant diplomatic encounter, President Ranil Wickremesinghe engaged in discussions with a diverse delegation representing the Global Tamil Forum and esteemed Buddhist monks. The meeting took place at a pivotal juncture where the joint Himalayan declaration was formally presented to the President. The Joint Himalayan Declaration, a collaborative effort between the Global Tamil Forum and the Buddhist delegation, advocates for a pluralistic Sri Lanka that actively promotes the well-being of all its communities. Emphasizing the importance of learning from the nation's historical missteps, the declaration underscores the necessity for implementing measures that ensure accountability. The Buddhist monks of the forum said that they will educate the Mahanayaka theories of the 3 chapters and other religious dignitaries regarding this matter. Expressing his views, the President said that in public, in his country who have been suffering immensely due to prolonged war, all have faced many difficulties amidst the recent economic crisis. New economic policies required in building an innovative country. The President out that declarations like Himalaya are very important to achieve this endeavor. The President also stressed that unity and stability are essential features to revitalize the economy. The handover of the Joint Himalayan Declaration marks a significant step towards fostering dialogue and collaboration for a harmonious and inclusive Sri Lanka. The President expressed his appreciation for initiative and committed to considering the recommendations outlined in the declaration. The diplomatic discourse sets the stage for continued efforts towards national reconciliation and progress.
Veteran cricketer Aravinda De Silva, who was highly honoured by the ICC recently, was felicitated at a special ceremony held in his alma mater DS College in Colombo today. Aravinda De Silva first initiated his cricket journey from the under-12 cricket team in the DS College. He completed his journey at the topmost international cricketer. His classmates and cricket mates of the 1983 team have jointly organised this felicitation ceremony today. Principal of the school, teaching staff, students and old boys were present at this ceremony. Minister Tiran Alas also graced this occasion not as a political representative but as the eldest son of the founder principal of the school, RIT Alas. Aravinda De Silva retired from international cricket in 2003. He was very popular even among the small children. It was evident when the school children gathered around him at this ceremony today. Aravinda's school cricket captain Shan Vimana expressed his views regarding the skills of Aravinda.
My name is Shan Vimana. I played cricket for DS. 50 years ago, I was selected as the captain. So Aravinda finishes school at 1 and he has to loiter around the grounds till 5:36 until his father picks him up to take him to school. So I see this young, little dark, little short, but stockily built boy running around the ground picking the balls up for me. Balls up and he throws from the boundary and he had a very good arm. He used to throw and he used to field, he used to catch, but he never got to bat because he was only 9 years old, 9 plus. He was so small. But we saw his talent. Of course, the principal and Mr. Van Silva saw the talent and spoke to me and asked him because we were going to play Royal College 2 weeks later. So, and Royal had a very good team as usual even those days. And he asked me whether we could play Aravinda in the match. So I told him, sir, he's a little too small, but it's okay, you take a chance and you play him. We decided to play Aravinda against Royal at Royal Junior Grounds. That was 49 years ago. So as usual, Diasnaga was put into bed by Royal, and we were about 88 runs for 6 wickets. Of course, because they had very fast, quick bowlers, good spinners, and we were struggling. When they saw Aravinda, I heard the Royal captain telling the others, so I was very, very concerned about this boy, my Aravinda. So when Aravinda came, I told Aravinda, I didn't go to say anything. Aravinda, watch. That's all I said. First ball, he just defended. We had a very sound defense, good hand-eye coordination, excellent technique. And the second ball was over Navarangala. Third ball was over the pavilion. And he got 60 runs in 20 or 30 balls. And I was watching. Not that he was watching, I was watching. I was from 52, I had got only 53. And Aravind was out for 60. That's how destructive and murderous he was at that time.
The selection of the under-19 team. And I remember I went for these under-19 practices. We had the selections at the NCC, and this was just before the April holidays, there was a team which was supposed to come down from Australia to play some games against the under-19 team. But I remember very well, I was left out of that squad to play against this Australian Melbourne Cavaliers team. So I was very sad. I was waiting there. My father came to pick me up, and I said that I was not being picked to play against the Melbourne Cavaliers. And the encouraging words I heard was, he said, don't worry. And then he said, why don't you go with Lakshman, one of my classmates, to Nuwara for the holidays and enjoy your holiday and forget about what has happened. Lakshman's father drove us all the way to Nuwara, and those days we didn't have mobile phones, but as soon as we got to Nuwara, we got a call at that time from my father. There was a message to say that the board has called and said that one of the players were injured or not well, and for me to be available for the match. So it was the very next day, so it was very, very difficult because it took about 6 hours to drive to Nuwara those days. So we drove all the way there and then to Colombo at about 5 o'clock, and I slept right through in the car and went and played that match, and I was the highest scorer and man of the match in that game, which actually gave the start to my career. So here what I'm trying to encourage and tell, never get discouraged when you are left out of a team. You will always get an opportunity, and when that opportunity comes, you got to keep trying, and that's all you can give at any time. Then at the national level, as I said, we went to the World Cup, and there was a friend of mine who said that he didn't tell me, but when I was in Lahore, just about to go to sleep, there was a flight which was chartered out of Sri Lanka, and at about 9 o'clock in the night, I hear someone knocking on the door, and I open the door, and whom do I see? My father and Mr. Alas. I think when I saw them before the final, I must say it really inspired me at that moment. So please make sure that whatever we receive, we are accountable for it, and that is the only way you can grow that fund from now on. And I'm sure with all that support, I would like to wish the future generation all the very best and keep this Sri Lanka flag flying, because through sport sometimes you learn much more than what you learn in a classroom, and that will help us to develop and build leaders for this country.
A commemorative stamp was also released at this ceremony under the patronage of State Minister Shan Vimana. By scanning the QR code of the stamp, information, video clips about Aravinda can be downloaded.
Hundred students were selected at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation premises today for educational workshop, which has been jointly organized by the National Television and Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Services Authority. The aim of this workshop is to realize the dream of children, of the nation's children, to fly. The Airports and Aviation Authority, also the company Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering and Sri Lankan Aviation Training School also extended their cooperation for this workshop. The national television is committed to provide the best for children of the nation. Accordingly, this program of Aviation Dream has been organized. Last time, about 200 children sent applications for this program. Out of them, 150 applications were selected last time. In this year, a group of 100 children have been selected for this journey. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, extended his fullest support for this program. These selections were made through computers in transparent manner without causing any injustice to the candidates. The selected children will also be able to have a trip at the Katunaik International Airport premises on the 12th of this month.
In a historic step towards transitional justice and post-conflict reconciliation, the government of Sri Lanka has decided to establish an independent commission for truth, unity and reconciliation. This proposed commission will be established through an act of parliament currently in the drafting process as a concept paper in consultation with relevant stakeholders.
The concept paper used to prepare the final draft of the bill for the Parliament will soon be available for comments to ensure an inclusive process in developing legislation that strengthens and safeguards national unity through truth, transitional justice, reconciliation, reparation and social cohesion. A key objective of this process is to establish the truth regarding post-conflict grievances of Sri Lankan citizens, facilitating reconciliation, reparation and sustainable peace. The proposed commission acknowledges every Sri Lankan's inalienable right to ascertain a certain truth, a pivotal aspect for individuals and communities to heal from past conflicts. Accordingly, the commission aims to ensure and strengthen national unity, peace, the rule of law, coexistence, equality, tolerance, respect for diversity and reconciliation among the people of Sri Lanka. The commitment extends to preventing any recurrence of disharmony and future conflict between multi-ethnic and diverse communities. In a press conference held today at the Presidential Media Centre under the theme Collective Part to a Sustainable Country, Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri commended President Ranil Wickremesinghe for steering Sri Lanka's foreign relations in the right direction, emphasizing a policy of non-alignment with all foreign countries while prioritizing national unity.
Minister Ali Sabri highlighted the positive impact of President Wickremesinghe's decisions on the country's foreign relations, stating that Sri Lanka has successfully pursued a non-aligned policy by extending a hand of friendship to all nations without favouring any particular country. He credited these diplomatic efforts for securing support from the International Monetary Fund.
Repeatedly articulate myself and His Excellency the President. Our policy is pro-Sri Lanka. Non-aligned policy is the base. That means we are not aligned to any camp or any country. But in practice, we are multi-aligned. Based on the non-aligned policy, we align with everyone. So there is no restriction. So if you look at that, we have good relationship in India today. We had a very successful visit. We have high-level visit from that end to this end. And number of investment promotion undertakings are taking place in renewable energy, port development, transport, connectivity. Very happy that happening. We see India is rising and we see a great opportunity for countries like Sri Lanka to tag along and rise with it. So that's one side of it. Then we have had a very good relationship with China. Chinese relationship, you saw very high level Central Committee of the Communist Party is above the cabinet. So 3 of their members came to Sri Lanka. Recently that lady came. So that's a very good sign. Our president and high level delegations went there. I went there twice. So we have good relationship. And if you could see, Sinopac had won the tender to invest about 4.5 billion. That's the single largest investment in the history of Sri Lanka. Thirdly, we had a very difficult relationship with Japan. With abrupt end of LRT. So I'm glad to say that the collaborative relationship has seen a great improvement under President Wickremesinghe. He had a personal touch with most of their leaders, and that have played a major role. And they took a personal interest in helping us in achieving IMF targets as well as in the debt restructuring. So we are very hopeful that once we get the second tranche and announce the full settlement of debt restructuring, once the country is ready and out of bankruptcy, there will be substantial Japanese investment in this, possibly on LRT, possibly, I want to underline that, I'm not giving certainty, possibly on the LRT and one stretch of Central Highway, and also the suspended program of expansion of the Katunayaka Airport, which we desperately require now because of the number of tourists who are coming. And also with West, Americans have invested close to $1 billion during the last 1 year. Unprecedented. $533 million they invested 2 weeks ago. Even DFC's CEO came to here on that project with Adanis. They have invested on our banks, our finance companies, our small-scale companies, and our agriculture companies. So therefore, we have good relationship with France, lot of activities in terms of maritime security, a maritime university. All in all, good relationships are going on. President had some very high-level, interesting discussions with some high-net-worth individuals and big companies in UAE. They have shown a lot of interest, and also from Saudi in renewable energy, again, real estate, port development, and also on some of the SOEs. Malaysians have shown. So all in all, we have had a good turnaround on the relationship, particularly with the Muslim world.
In the meantime, the 10th stage of National Action for Control of Dengue mosquito breeding was launched in the Jaffna District today.
Now, the awareness program for students was held at the Hindu College in Jaffna. This program has been jointly organized by the National Television and Morton Company. Students of 18 schools have gathered in the school for the awareness program. They were educated over the spread of dengue mosquitoes and how to control the menace. With this news experience, the students will educate their friends and other members of the society in eradicating mosquito breeding. The program was launched under the patronage of Jaffna District Secretary A. Sivalasubramaniam and Jaffna DIG Manjula Sena Ratna. Officers from 3 armed forces and education sector were also present at the occasion. 500 students of 18 schools were given a proper knowledge on preventing the mosquito breeding. The cleaning program was also launched at the Bantarpanti area in Jaffna. 3 armed forces and police, Lions Club and a group of members of public officials extended their support to this program. A concert of Esraj music featured by eminent musician Sarath Kumarasinghe was held recently at the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation's Kumarathunga studio. Musician Sarath Kumarasinghe, who lives in Canada, is now in the island for short vacation. This concert was supported by twin brothers Julian and Jason Prince from the Maldives. SLBC's Radio Sri Lanka broadcast this piece of music titled Golden Melodies. JJ twins are popular performers since the age of 9 years. They have won gold and silver medals in the duet category in Sri Lanka's Performing Arts Festival in 2013 and 2014. In 2019, JJ twins released their first ever 7-track cover titled Across the Ocean. Chairman of the SLBC Hudson Samarasinghe, Director General Udani Varasuvithana and several top officials and a large number of invitees and SLBC staff were present at this occasion. We'll be back with foreign news right after this break.
The UN Chief Antonio Guterres invoked a rarely used power to bring to the Council any matter which may threaten the maintenance of international peace. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will address Council diplomats today in an open meeting after speaking with many leaders over the phone, including the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, the UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron and several Arab ministers. Arab and Islamic nations immediately responded to his letter with a draft resolution that will be voted today. The majority echoes international calls for a ceasefire.
Wishing you a joyful Christmas from Prima.
Colombo DSA Nanaika College became the champions of the All-Ireland Inter-School Group 20 Group A Men's Basketball Tournament. They defeated St. Peter's College at the final match. The tournament was held at St. Peter's College basketball grounds. At the final match, DSA Nanaika College team scored 72 points and St. Peter's College only scored 58 points. Accordingly, DSA Nanaika College team won the trophy.
Wishing you a joyful Christmas from Prima.
And that concludes your news bulletin for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow as well with the very latest, together with Sharifa and Prashant. Good night.
Good night.